What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Codewars challenges. Today again I'm going to solve or try to solve Codewars challenges without preparation, without ChatGPT, without googling the solution, and without cutting out mistakes or trying to appear like I can solve it immediately. I'm going to show you my raw thought process, my mistakes, and my whole reasoning process to a hopefully correct solution. So let us get right into it. Alright, so the two most important things for a coding session, water and coffee. Alright, so same rules as always. I'm not allowed to Google the exact solution. I'm not allowed to use large language models. I am allowed to Google documentation, Stack Overflow stuff if it's not the solution, if it's just something about Python or some basic stuff that is not going to immediately give me the solution, as I said. And what we're going to do now is we're going to say that we want to have a certain difficulty. Let's start this time. I think usually I start with 6Q, so let's go and start with 5Q today. But I am going to sort by either popularity or most completed. Or, yeah, let's go with popularity. Let's see what we have here. Now, these are already solved by me, so let's see. Actually, I solved quite a bit of those already. Pete the Baker. Let's open up a couple of them. First non-repeating character. Sounds familiar. I'm not sure if I didn't already look at this one. Let's scroll down a little bit. Or actually, let's go and say sort by most completed. Probably it's going to be similar. So let's scroll down a little bit to the ones that I have not seen yet. Permutation sounds interesting. Common denominators sounds interesting. ISBN-10 validation. Actually, this sounds quite simple. ISBN identifiers are 10 digits long. Maybe as a warm-up here, let's see if that's easy. ISBN identifiers are 10 digits long. The first 9 characters are digits 0 to 9. The last digit can be 0 to 9 or X to indicate a value of 10. An ISBN number is valid if the sum of the digits multiplied by their position modulo 11 equals 0. Yeah, okay. That should be super simple. I don't know why that is 5Q. I don't want to be, again, too cocky because maybe it's actually more difficult than I think, but it seems like it's super easy. So what's the input again? We get 9 digits and we get an extra digit or an X, and the whole thing modulo 11 has to be 0 for it to be valid. So basically, we just have to see if the first 9 digits are digits, because here in the sample tests, we see that there are examples. Actually, why can I not scroll down here? It seems like I have to reload the page, somehow displayed. Oh, there you go. So I have some examples here where I get letters or where I get the X in the beginning. These are, of course, invalid. So in those, I have to immediately return false. But if the structure itself is valid, then I want to see if the whole thing modulo 11 is actually 0 and X is equal to 10. So I have to treat X like 10. So how do I check if the first 9 are actually digits? I can do that probably with a regex, but I don't know how to do a regex off the top of my head. So I have to probably Google about how to do a regex. A very stupid way probably to do it is to just try to typecast the first 9 characters into a number, and if it works, then it's just digits, and if it doesn't work, then the format is invalid. And of course, the whole thing has to have a certain length. I'm not sure if, yeah, actually for length, I also have to check this. So let's start with a very basic check here, which is, now, is this enabled or not? I hope so. Let's say if the length of the ISBN is not equal to 10, then we return false. Then we can try also, what else is a good check? I mean, we can try to typecast it. Just let's get a solution that works, and then we can make it cleaner. So let's say try. This is now really not a best practice way to do this, but let's just try and typecast ISBN the first 9 characters. That should throw an exception if, or an error if it contains characters. So if I get an exception, return false. Otherwise, I'm going to assume that they are in fact digits, and then I can say if ISBN 9 in, and then I can provide a string here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, X. Then I consider that a valid thing potentially, otherwise I return false. And if the structure is valid in general, then I just have to sum up the individual positions. So again, an easy way to do that is to say, let me think about this. An easy way to say that here, again, with a messy solution is to just iterate over the characters, over the first 9 characters, to sum them up. And then if maybe, actually, let's do it that way. I can say if that's part of this, then I can do one thing. Otherwise, if ISBN 9 is equal to X, then we're going to do something else. But we're still going to consider this as potentially valid. But in this case here, what I can do is I can just say, if sum of, and then int character for character in ISBN. If the sum of that, and actually I need to call the function here, if the sum of that modulo 11 is equal to 0, return true, otherwise return false. And then down here, what I can do is I can say basically the same thing, but not exactly, almost. We just do the same thing, but up until the last. So we don't do up until the 9th, and then we also add to this plus 10. So I actually have to do it like this, and that should actually work. Now I'm not sure if I didn't think about something. Okay, false should equal true. Where am I returning false? Can I actually see that? Oh, here actually. So this is the first one fails. Why does this fail? Let me actually go to the desktop and open this as a script, main py. Let me copy paste this. I don't think I can do it in Vim mode. I think I have to go into insert mode. No, this is actually from another video. So how do I actually copy this? Can I do it with my register? Is this possible? No, still doesn't work. How do I copy the code from the Codewars block here? I think I did this in the past. Do I always have to use my mouse? Maybe. There you go. And now let's say valid underscore ISBN. And then let's call this on. Actually, print, call this on. 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 9. False. Why do I return a false? Let me think about this. Let me maximize this. Let me zoom in. 1, 1, 1. So definitely it's typecastable. So it's not going to throw an exception. The 9th character should actually be part of this string. So in this case, it would be 9, and 9 is part of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So what I do is I sum it up. I say 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2, and so on. Isn't this, I mean, if I open up Python 3, if I say 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 9, 27 modulo 11 is 5. Did I get the assignment wrong? Maybe I didn't read the instructions properly. 10 digits long. The first 9 characters are digits 0 to 9. The last digit can be 0 to 9 or X to indicate a value of 10. An ISBN 10 number is valid if the sum of the... Oh, multiplied by their position. Okay. That shouldn't be too difficult. Okay. You should read the assignment before you jump to conclusions like I do. So that is going to be just an enumerate here. And the enumerate, what actually happened here? Oh yeah, enumerate ISBN. This is going to give us now not just the C, but also the I. And then we're going to say it's going to be this times I. And besides that, it's going to be the same thing here for I and C in ISBN. Enumerate. I have a new keyboard, so I'm going to mistype a bit more frequently than usual, because now I don't have arrow keys. I have to use HJKL. I force myself to do it in Vim. And for the 10, it's not 10, but it's probably 100, right? Shouldn't be 100 because it's an X in the 10th position. So I think that should always add 100. Not sure about this. But let's see if this runs through the tests correctly. No, okay, false should equal true. So, or is it I plus 1? Oh, it's probably I plus 1. Because of course we don't start counting from 0 if we're normal people. What's the problem here? I fail, but I always return false, it seems. Actually not. Here I'm returning true. Okay, let me just see what I'm doing wrong here. Again, I have ISBN 9 as part of this. Works, okay, sum. I have to take the value. So in this case, or what was the example? 1, 1, 1. So it would be 1 times 1, 1 times 2, 1 times 3, 2 times 4, if I understood this correctly. That should be the pattern. So in this case, this is exactly what I'm doing. First integer times 1. Second times 2. Modulo 11 has to be 0. And if it's x, I have to add... but actually, that's not the thing. The x is not the problem, because if the x was the problem, I should at least get the correct solution here. So before we focus on the x stuff, let's see why this is not working out. I want to know that. So I'm going to copy paste this again into my NeoVim here. And I want to know why this is still a problem. I also want to know what the sum is actually. So maybe I can... or actually, let me just run this. False. Okay, yeah, I know that already. But if I do this manually now, if I use, let's say I use speed crunch for this. Can I clear? No, okay, doesn't matter. But basically I have 1 plus 2 plus 3, right? And then I have 8 plus 10 plus 2 times 6, 12, and then plus 3 times 7, 21, plus 3 times 8, which is 24, plus and then 27. And then I have 9 times 10, so I have 90, and that is 198 modulo 11, or how do I do it here? 11. Okay, how do I use mod and speed crunch? Doesn't matter. Okay, I know what the number is. The number is 198 modulo 11. 0. Okay, so what am I doing wrong in the calculation? This is then really a stupid problem here. I'm taking the integer times I plus 1. What am I doing wrong here? I mean, I would like to know what kind of faults I'm getting here. So maybe let's just print some. Let's do the cheap debugging of printing A here and printing B down here, and then printing C down here, and then printing it here again. I get an A. Okay, that's at least good, because that's the calculation. Now, what the hell am I doing wrong here? This is probably so simple, and I'm not seeing it because I'm recording, as always, dropping the IQ points when I'm pressing on record. I want to see what the sum is. I'm going to say now the sum is equal to 0. Or actually, no, not to 0. I'm going to take this here. Oh, actually, wrong key. I'm going to take this here, copy it, paste it, remove the 0 here. That's the sum. And what I want to do here is I want to say the sum modulo 11, print the sum. What is the sum? Why doesn't this work? 181. Why? For every character in ISBN, I take the character and I multiply it times I plus 1. Which makes sense, of course, because I don't want to do it with 0. We saw that the calculation is actually correct. So what the hell am I doing wrong here? I really don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Okay, I have to do it explicitly then. I have to do it in a for loop. For I see in enumerate ISBN, I'm gonna be so disappointed by what the problem is. It's gonna be so stupid, and I know you guys are probably screaming already into your screen. Into your screen. So the sum is 0. The sum plus equals C, or int C, times, oh boy. Oh, this is so stupid. This is so stupid. This is so stupid. This is so absolutely stupid. Okay, got it. Of course, I have to put parentheses around this, because otherwise it's going to take it times I and add 1 to it. This is obviously a problem. Okay. So let's, oh, come on. Let's do it like this and like this. And now let's see if it works. Okay, got all the tests. Let's see if I can pass the solution. Okay, it works. Now I would like to at least a little bit, make this a little bit more professional. And I think the best way to do that is using regex, because I don't know how otherwise you would want to check efficiently if it fits a pattern. So regex, not regets, regex. Let's see if we can build a regex that allows me to find. The problem is I don't know the regex syntax off the top of my head, and I don't want to use a large language model, but maybe we can say, I think it's 0 to 9, right? But you gotta have it. How do I say I want to have it exactly 9 times? So regex exactly n times. Oh, okay. So basically I would just do, let me try this again, regex. Why am I typing Z all the time? Regex. If I say I want to have 0 to 9, then I would just say that, and then here I would put 9, right? And then I want to have, now we're learning regex here. If I have, let me enter some numbers here. Okay, this is recognized already. This should be recognized, and then I want to have this here. So let's see if it finds that. So it would be 9 numbers followed by, and now I would have to have, again, 0 to 9 or x. So how do I do a regex or? Regex or. So it would be basically parentheses. I would say this pipe symbol. Can I just do x? Does it work like that? Oh, it works. And I want to have that exactly once. Okay, this seems to work. So that's my expression now. Let's see, Python regex check if string matches. I compile the regex pattern match. So let me open this here like this. Let me open this like this. Let's go back to our example here. And now I'm going to say, to make this more professional, import RE. And I'm going to say the regex pattern is pattern equals RE dot compile. And I think this this hat symbol, so to say, is for the start of the string. So then I put my regex here, and then I use the dollar for the end of the string. Not sure if this works, but then I would say pattern match and then ISBN. Is this correct? I'm gonna copy this, and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna try to do this here in my local version. So let's just go down here, import RE, and then let's paste this. Let's do it like this. And now let's see if I can print, or actually I want to print pattern match 111 222 3339. True. Okay, now the big test is, does it also work if I add some bullshit to it? So this should still work, but for example, this should not. And this should also not. Let's see. Match, match. Oh, actually, okay. This is a match, and then I have no match. Okay, perfect. So if I have a match, it's a match. But how do I check for a true-false value? How can I turn this into a yes or no? Can I just say if? Yeah, of course, because, yeah. Then let's go if. And now I can get rid of all this, right? I can get rid of all this. The only difference here is I have to still consider what I'm doing with the x. So this still has to be here, but I don't need, I can just have an else here, and I can return false, and I can have if that is true. So can I make this somehow more elegant? Can I say 9-digit sum is equal to, and then I can do this comprehension here basically. So I can start here. And I can say that this here is what I'm looking for, but only up until the last character. So :9. And then I just have to say match. Can I use match here? I can say ISBN 9. And then case. How is the syntax actually of match case? I've never used this in Python, I think. Yeah, basically what I wanted to type. So match case, and I can say the case is either, or actually the case doesn't make a lot of sense. It's way better to say if the ISBN 9 is equal to X, do something, otherwise do something else, and the something is take the 9-digit sum, or actually just return 9-digit sum, 9-digit sum plus 100 modulo 11 is equal to 0, and here return 9 digits sum plus int ISBN 9 times 10 if that thing modulo 11 equals 0. It's true. Not sure if that's so much more elegant. I think the solutions that I'm going to look at here in a second are way better. Now I get a false, even though it should be true, so I'm messing up something. What's the issue? I get this. What's the problem here? It seems to work for enough cases, but it doesn't work for my favorite case, the first one. So let's see actually if I just redefine this down here. False. Okay, I know that it's false, but what's the problem? What's the sum? Print 9-digit sum. 108. So then I add to this 9 times, 108. Shouldn't it actually be correct then? I mean, it would be then... No, actually, that's not the number that we had before, right? No, actually, it should be. 198 modulo 11 should be correct. So it's not that. It goes in here. Yeah, of course. That's the problem. Because, of course, I'm taking the string, I'm repeating the string 10 times, and then I'm taking the integer version of that. That's absolute nonsense. Let's go. There you go. Attempt. And we have done it. So let's submit this and let's see what the other solutions are. We took quite some time for this trivial task here. What does he do here? Length has to be 10 and... Oh, there's an isDigit function. This was... I think I actually made a video about this. This isDigit function in Python is quite new, isn't it? I think I covered this in one of my what's new in Python version whatever. I think that this was a new thing. Not sure about this. Okay, I didn't think about this at all. So we have an isDigit function that we can just call on the individual characters. We want to know if the length is 10 and if the last digit is... if the last character is a digit, or if it's X. Oh, if it's not, okay, yeah. Return false, and then modulo, you just sum up 10 if X is x, otherwise int x. Okay, yeah, okay. It's not that different from what I did here, but he doesn't use a regex, he just uses isDigit, which probably, I don't know what's more efficient. This guy here uses a regex, and he sums up the index d times I for enumerate. Yeah, okay. Makes sense. All right, let's move on. Let's do another one. Let's actually do a 4Q one. I think I've not done one yet on video, so let's go for 4Q, but I'm gonna filter it, or I'm gonna pick one that seems easy, okay? I wanna not fail too hard here. So let's try to pick one where I think I should be able to find a solution quite easily. Oh, actually I have one here, human readable duration format. I think this is one that I did on camera. But let's go matrix determinant, no thank you. Simple maze. Exponentials is fractions. Pathfinder AI on labyrinth game. Big Padovan number. Problem of points. Let's actually go for oh, this is actually sorted by newest. I didn't want to sort by newest. I wanted to sort by popularity. Okay, actually I have snail done, human readable format, range extraction, next bigger number with the same digits. This sounds actually like it shouldn't be extremely complicated. So where is it now? Next biggest number with the same digits. So we're getting a number and we have to find the next bigger number that can be formed by rearranging its digits. Okay, now the brute force approach for this is super simple. You go with permutation and you just get the max of the values. But I think that probably the input is going to be large enough for this to not make sense. I want to do this one now. Oh, actually I have done this already. Train again. Or have I? I'm not sure. I mean, I didn't complete it. I have looked at it already, but I'm going to be honest, I don't remember this. So don't think that I prepared for this. I have no idea. I've never solved this, but I think that the solution should be quite straightforward, especially if these are the values you get. I'm not sure if I'm, again, too naive about this, but I think that all you have to do is you have to call permutations on it. You have to typecast all the permutations. So you basically take the number, turn it into a string, get all the permutations, turn them into integers, and then you just pick the max value out of there. And if the length of the permutation list is 1, you basically return -1 here, because it says if you can't rearrange the numbers. Yeah. I don't know why this shouldn't work, so let's just try it. Python permutations. itertools permutations. How did this work? itertools permutations. Yeah. So what I do is basically next bigger. I say numbers is going to be equal to from itertools import permutations. Next bigger, so numbers is going to be equal to permutations of string of n. And then basically I say, or actually I can do it in a list comprehension here already. I can say int num for num in permutations. And then I can just return max numbers if length numbers is not equal to 1, else -1. I don't know if that's it, but I think this should work. No, okay. Int argument must be a string, not tuple. Okay, let me just see what this outputs. I'm not sure. So let's delete all of this. Next bigger of, let's say 1, 2, 3. Oh no, sorry. It's not max. It's the next biggest number. It's not the largest number. Okay, but still it shouldn't be that more difficult to do that. But what I want to see here is what happens. Can I print numbers, or does this not work? So if I run this, no, okay, this happens actually already up here. So let me see what happens when I print permutations str of n. So permutations object, okay. But what happens if I say num for num in permutations? What do I get then? Okay, yeah, I basically have to join this together then. So I basically have to say join number. And then I should get yeah, this works. Okay, but now it doesn't return, of course, it doesn't give me what I want to have, so it gives me the largest number. So what I want to have is I want to have a sort on that list, and I want to see where this is, and then I want to get the, basically what I have to do is I don't have to return max numbers, but I want to do numbers, and then I want to have the index of the numbers, so numbers index num plus 1, if it exists. Num is not defined. N, obviously. Okay, that is the correct solution. The problem is, of course, if I already have the largest number, this is going to throw an exception. No, it doesn't. Oh, I didn't sort it, sorry. I need to say numbers is equal to sorted numbers. And then it should give me an exception. Yes, out of range. But it should work if I have anything else. So if I have something like 1, 2, 3, it should give me the correct. Yeah, okay, this works. So basically, if length is not 1 and max numbers is not equal to n. So that works. And if I now have 3, 2, 1, that gives me -1. Not sure if that is actually what we even need to do, but let's see. Okay, this one does not work. What's the input? 414 returns. Okay, what does it return in my case? 414 returns 414. Why is that? Oh, because I have to remove the duplicates. How do I remove duplicates from a list in Python? Probably there's a function for it. I am allowed to Google stuff like this. Remove duplicates list Python. Oh, obviously, I'm stupid. I've done this countless times. Why do I have to look this up? Set, of course. Yeah, that should fix it. So sorted set numbers. That should now be the solution. But I'm gonna have the problem that running through the permutations is not very efficient. So I'm gonna probably get a timeout now and I have to throw away my solution. There you go. Execution timed out. All right. That's probably where it gets difficult because that is the brute force approach. Easy, don't have to do anything about it. What do you do if you don't have... Now you have to actually use intelligence to solve this. Because if I have a number like this, what is the next largest number? This requires now a more intelligent approach because now I have to think, okay, how can I move the numbers to cause the smallest increase? And this now is where you have to turn on your brain because up until now this was super trivial. let's use a smaller number as an example here. If I have, let's say, this number, or this number, what do I have to do to increase the value a tiny bit? Well, I have to somehow increase the whole value. How do I do that? So you obviously don't want to decrease the value of the highest value, or of the highest number. So you don't want to swap this one with something because you're going to decrease the value. So this has to stay. Let's maybe change this. What if I have a 2 here, or a 3? Then I could increase the value, of course, by swapping with the 5. But that is too much of an increase. I can also increase the value by doing it a little bit. So to increase the value just a little bit, I have to probably increase the last digit. However, I have to increase it in a way that doesn't decrease the value. So for example, I can swap 2 and 4, but that will decrease the value. So this doesn't make a lot of sense. So I should actually, what I think about is I should move some value from the right to the left where the right value is larger. So for example, I could swap 2 and 1, because 2 and 1 are, so 2 is larger than 1, but 2 is to the right of 1. So isn't it just the first occurrence where I can swap a value on the right? So what if I have something like, what if I have something like, I don't know, this, and then I have 1, 9, 2. What's the next biggest number? Well, I could swap 2 and 1. Yeah. I mean, isn't that the thing? You just swap the number. But what if, for example, this is not 1, but this is 3, and I have 2 here? Then I would, of course, not do that. But what if I have a 1 here, for example? Then I would try to find a way to... I need the closest pair of numbers, I think, from right to left. The first close... How do I define this? Because now, swapping the 2 and the 1 is not the best way. So I cannot just go for the first thing, you know, looking at the last digit and when can I swap it here, I can swap it, so I would increase the value. Because actually what I should be doing is I should be swapping the 9 into 3. I think that the correct answer here is saying 9 and saying 3. That would be the next largest number, next biggest number. But how do I put this into code? I have to go from right to left and see if I have, I mean, one approach would be, I say, for distance in range, I start with a distance of 1. And I go, or actually I could say, done equals false while not done. And I could say I have distance equals 1. And then I could go from right to left and see for I in range length n, string n, I go through the string and I say, give me the last, or go from right to left and see if your neighbor But this is also not always the case, because what if I have, or is it always the case? I think it could actually be always the case. Let me just try this and then I can think about this in more detail. But if I say now, if I need to do it differently. I need to say string num is, if I have a number, let's pick the one from above, 13392, whatever. If I have a number like this, I have to say string of n, and down here I can say now string number, and I can say if string number negative I is larger than string number negative I plus 1, then swap them. No, not negative I plus 1, because I need to go with distance. So it's going to be 1 in the beginning, but not all the time. Distance. Swap them. So I can say string num I, or negative I, string num negative I plus distance is, and now basically the same thing, but the other way around. So that would be that, and then we would say done equals true and break, because then we're done. Otherwise, if we get out of this for loop, we can say else. If we don't break out of the for loop, distance plus equals 1. Print strnum. I'm very curious to see what happens here. So string object does not support item assignment. Great, awesome. Why not? Why can I? What do you mean string object doesn't support item assignment? Okay, then don't turn it into a string, turn it into a list of characters. Turn it into string of position for position in string of n. I don't know. Okay, this is obviously wrong. This is obviously wrong. Why though? I say 2 and 9. No. 2 is not larger than 9. Okay. 2 and 3. No, actually not 2 and 3. 9 and 3. Why is this not triggering immediately? Probably my loop is not correct. So, shouldn't this be what's happening here? I mean, shouldn't the first thing that happens be... Oh, obviously I have a problem here. But I'm not sure if that's going to solve the problem. The problem is I'm comparing stuff here that is not an integer. So I don't know if that is an issue. But I think that actually in terms of ASCII codes, it shouldn't be that much of a difference. So my question is, I have the first comparison should be take the last element. No, it's not. Or is it? No, it should actually work like that. So if I say 2 is larger than 9, no. So we don't do that, we just go to the next iteration. Now I is 1, so I go 9 is larger than whatever this position is plus distance. So this, so why is 9 not larger than 3? I don't understand this. Because then, in this case, it should swap the values. And it should stop the loop immediately. That should actually be the solution. So why doesn't it do that? I don't know. But I want to find out. So I want to print here string number -I and string number -I plus distance. And I want to see what exactly you're doing here. 4 and 2. Why 4 and 2? Four and 2. I don't understand this. Why 4? Do I not understand something about? I mean, I'm very confused right now. Oh, I got it. I have to start with 1. I have to start with 1 because -0 is 0. That's the reason. But shouldn't that basically work all the time? Shouldn't this work for any number? Not sure right now, but if I say this is my function, what was the function called? Next bigger. If I call it next bigger n, and I say this is what I'm doing here, and I mean, for some values I'm never gonna get, I have to return -1 sometimes. When do I return -1? If I don't get to a solution. So if I mean, I can try until I get an exception, right? Or not. Let's just try a couple of things. So let's just take the default case if everything works. So I take a number, I do all this, in the end I end up with a list, so I just have to return the int version of join string number. That should work. That should be my function. So let's see if it works at least for some cases, because I think it should. No. Cannot access. Oh, actually, I forgot a couple of things here. Of course, we need to delete the n thing here. But besides that, and we also don't need this print statement, but that should be now it. Let's see. It works for some instances at least. Examples. I'm logging something. Am I printing something here? I don't think that I'm printing something, actually. Unexpected exception. Yeah, of course. Now, I'm not sure if we can solve this by just saying -1 or -2. Okay, now I'm going into an endless loop. I think this is the while not done. At some point you should terminate. What's that point? When the distance, let's just say if distance is larger than the length of string number, we want to say done equals true. Just as a hard to terminate here at some point. Okay, we get some tests passed. 12 should equal 21. Again, let me just copy paste this. Run this locally. Print next bigger. What was it? 12. Okay. 12 is 12. Why is 12 12? Shouldn't it immediately... We start with a distance of 1, okay. Doesn't trigger this. And then I say the last digit here. Oh, I am actually printing stuff. Shouldn't be printing stuff. Or actually, I do want to print stuff. Let me check this again. But it doesn't print stuff, which means I don't get into this at all. So let me print that. Let me print this up here. Oh. Doesn't get in the loop because we only have 2 and 1. Okay, the problem is sometimes I get otherwise. I can't just do it like this. Okay, now it works, but then I get the problem again with the exception. So I can run it like this, test, but then I get the exception in the case of 21. Why is that? Because for 21 I don't find a solution. So if I type 21, oh, actually I didn't have to do this. Index out of range, because what happens is it doesn't find anything. Distance is 2. How many times do I go into this loop if I have this? Okay, I run it twice. So what if I just say this? No, also not possible. Or actually, it could be possible if I just say in this case, I would have to say break. Maybe in combination now with the thing that I tried before. Is this the solution? If I say just break and add this. Okay, 21 should equal, yeah, I'm not returning -1, obviously. So what should happen in this case is actually not break. Actually, I don't have to break. I don't have to break, I can return -1. There you go, let's see if it solves all the problems. No, okay, we get a couple of wrong answers here. A lot of them, actually. Let me just check something on my phone. I don't want to cut the video here. Just got a message and I don't want to necessarily stop recording because of that. Okay, maybe I have to make a cut in 15 minutes. I promise I'm not going to Google the solution in that time. So let's see what's the problem here. 784732 should equal 787234. What's the input? Testing for... Sometimes, oh yeah, the problem is I'm returning sometimes the same number. So maybe I can do a hard code solution. I can say... No, actually, is this the input? I want to see what I get for this input. Okay, so here I'm applying my strategy of finding the first case of swapping the numbers. Now, what would be the correct solution? The correct solution would be 787234. Oh. Okay, this is a whole thing that I didn't consider, because what we need to do now is, of course, I find that, but then I have to minimize. Oh, this gets now super complicated, because now it's not just done when I swap that, because what I have here is I apply my strategy, which is correct. So I have to find the first time where I can switch that. So I have to basically say, okay, 7 is larger than 4. Found the first occurrence, so swap them. But now we're not done, because now, after this position, I have to minimize the order. So I have to say, once I do a switch, I have to now take everything from that position until the end and arrange it in the minimal way, which I could do with a sort, which is not very clean, but let's say I have, this is super messy now. I do the swap is correct, but now what I have to do is I have to say, from the position, so basically string number is string number from this position onwards. So from -I plus distance, or actually no, it's string number up until this position. Oh, this gets crazy now. I plus distance, I take it now the way it is, plus sorted string number everything after this position. Does this make sense? I'm not sure. But, yeah, no, in ascending order, that's fine. I have no idea if this makes 8. Okay, perfect. This is not correct. Actually, before I assign anything here, this doesn't make any sense. It's just sorting the whole number. So, show me what string num looks like here. This is what string num looks like right now. But that's not even true. That's not even true, right? Because we saw right now, this was not what I was returning. Did I change something here? Oh, sorry. I changed the input. What was the input? 784732. 784732. That was the input. 787432. This is actually correct, isn't it? No, it's not correct. But that here. 787. Seven, 8. -7, okay. So if I say -1 here, plus sorted, oh, this is just a character, this is of course not correct. But if I say this until the end, basically, so I say -1. Does this make sense now? Yes, that's correct. So that is what I want to do. I want to say string number is equal to exactly that. Let's see if this is a good solution. I'm very curious right now. 21 should still equal -1. Ah, yeah, this was because I didn't return -1 here. But that is not an issue. Return -1. So I still pass all the tests, but I don't pass this stuff still. But I pass way more, so there are some other problems. What are the other problems? I really don't want to solve them. Let's look, for example, I mean, index out of range is probably not that much of a big deal here. Let's look at this one. I get this number. And I should get this number. So again, what do I actually get? I get this. I get this, should get this. Okay. Our strategy, what was it? You take a number, the first time you see a number larger than the neighbor, you swap it. In this case, it would be, in this case, we would swap 9 and 1, correct? So I would say 9, 1. Is this correct? No. Again, let me see. We have the first occurrence. Is this the first occurrence? 0 is not larger than 2. 2 is not larger than 3. 3, 3, 5, 8, 9, 9, 1. 9, 1. 9 is larger than 1, so I would swap it. But that's not what's happening here. What's happening here is I should get this, so no, this doesn't make any sense. Yeah, of course, because I shouldn't be swapping 9 and 1. I should be swapping a smaller number always. Yeah, I have to make a quick cut in the video. Not to look up the solution. I probably am gonna give up on this, but I have to cut the video for a second. Okay, I'm back again. I don't really know if the approach that I have up until this point is not completely flawed, because the whole strategy of replace the first... Actually, maybe, what if it makes more sense? No, actually, no. The problem is not the distance at all. The problem is that 2 makes more sense than 9. So maybe I should be going from... Maybe it's not that bad. I have to find the first occurrence where I can make a swap, but then I should ask, is this the best swap I can make? So maybe I should find the first occurrence of a possible swap, but then I should go for the smallest number that I can swap. But in this case, this wouldn't be true either, because I'm not going to actually swap the smallest number. So if I go to this point here, I say 9 and 1. Oh, the smallest number, that would be an increase. Yeah, that would make sense. So if I say go through the numbers, find the first occurrence where this happens, but then don't replace it immediately by that, but do another loop, for example. This gets messy now. In range from this point until the end. This is now, how do I do this? Or I should say for j in range. No, this doesn't make sense. So in this case here, I find 9 and 1 are the ones that I can swap. But now what I want to do is I want to say, is 9 really the best candidate? So look at all these and find the smallest number that's larger than the one I want to swap with. So string number I plus distance is the thing I want to move to the right. So the thing that I'm looking for has to be larger than that, but also the smallest value that's larger than that. So I would have to basically say, let's add some more space around this here. I would basically have to say for j in range. And now I want to go from I until I plus, no, actually from 1 until I. Does this make sense? Smallest is equal to, I don't know, actually let's put this to 10 so we cannot have a better value. Go through the numbers. If string number negative j is larger than string number, this is so messy right now, j, or actually no, this stays the same. So basically I do this here. No, I messed this up. If that's the case, if string number negative j is larger, or actually less than smallest, if we turn it into an integer, we need to turn all of this into an integer, obviously, then set smallest equal to int string num negative j, and also smallest index is equal to none. And we could say smallest index is equal to j. If that's the case, the replacement happens. This is so messy right now. This is so messy. I have to think through this again, otherwise I'm going to make a mistake. So what I do is I check if there is a swap. Then I say smallest is 10 because there is no digit that's larger than 10. Index none. I go through all the digits that are I go from right to left. Smallest digit, that is still larger than the thing, so I need to actually say here again int that, and then if it's smaller than smallest, change this, and then what you do is you say that this at position j, this at position, there you go. There you go. And then you still do this. Boy, I have no idea if this works. Is this the correct number? No, it's not. But why not? Shouldn't this actually print str num minus j? I want to know what happens here. Yeah, okay, it recognizes that. So that should actually be the thing that I'm swapping with. Oh, of course not j, but there you go, smallest index, and then smallest index Oh. This is correct now. Come on. Oh boy, if I can solve this now. I didn't believe in myself. Now I do. For a second at least. Okay, what do I do if I get a none? If smallest index is none, smallest index is whatever it was before. What was it before? I. Let me just copy paste the full code again. So that's that. There you go, copy paste. Test. Oh boy, come on. Oh, we almost pass all of them. Okay, there's some exceptions here, which is always an index error. This is perfect. Okay, so where do I get the index error? I'm almost done with this. We're gonna do this. I get an index error here. Why do I get an index error with this one? What does happen here? Well, if there are no replacements, when does this happen? When I go through the loop, I'm gonna do this now in a very simple way to counteract this. If string of n is equal to sorted string of n, then I'm gonna just return -1. That's the cheap way to do this, but I think it should work. Let's see. Still works. Oh, we still get a problem. This shouldn't even happen. I mean, if I have 8872... Oh, okay, I know why. Reverse equals true. Reverse equals true. We still get a problem. I don't know what this is. Here we have 982. This should actually not go into that loop. Is this... Why is this not happening? I mean, if I have a number like this, it shouldn't even get past this check here. Or do I have to join this? Is that the problem? Yeah, okay, that's a problem. I need to join this. String join. This is not going to be the most beautiful solution, but it's going to be a solution right now. Come on, test, attempt. There you go. We have it. Oh my god. Okay. I'm going to submit this. And now let's see. This is way more beautiful than the shit I programmed. Okay, let's see what he does. Or she. Iter tools. List string numbers. Okay, makes sense. For range length s minus 2 minus 1 minus 1. So step size minus 1. We go from right to left. If there is any number larger than the neighboring number, m is min filter lambda. Okay, I don't have any remaining capacities to wrap my brain around this. Probably if you're looking at this now, it makes sense, but for me, I don't have the nerves to... This looks smooth. What does he do? If the string is equal to... Okay, this is basically what I did. This is exactly what I did now. But that a equals n, while true, a plus... Okay, come on. This is a super stupid solution. But it's faster than the permutation stuff that I did. This is like extremely stupid. He's just increasing the number by 1 until he gets to a point where he has the same digits. Okay, well, sure, why not? Okay, I want to explain my solution again for those of you who are interested. Just briefly, I want to then stop recording because this is now too long already. But the basic idea is if you have the string already in the largest possible permutation, there's not going to be a larger permutation. So if you have only descending numbers, you're not going to have anything that you can rearrange to make this larger. So you return -1. Otherwise, what I do is I say, I'm not even sure if this distance stuff makes sense. I'm not even sure if I ever run through this loop more than once. But basically what I do is I get the digits, I go from right to left, I find the first situation where I can swap 2 digits to make the number larger, but before I just swap them, I see is there any other number that is smaller than the one I'm trying to swap? Is there any smaller number where I can do that? If that's the case, I swap that number and then I sort everything afterwards in ascending order to get the minimal result possible. I think actually this is a cool solution. It's probably way too inefficient that I can optimize it, which I'm not going to do now, but I think this is not a bad solution. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and hope you learned something. If so, let me know by hitting the like button and leaving a comment in the comment section down below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell to not miss a single future video for free. Other than that, thank you much for watching, see you in the next video, and bye.